Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming out tonight. My name is Juhee Oh. I'm the co-director of the 2021 Prideful series, and I'll be your moderator tonight. To briefly describe myself in audio, I have a long reddish brown hair with black eyes, black eyebrows. I'm sitting on a olive sofa in front of a white wall. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to the USA Virtual Live Q&A, co-presented with API Rainbow Parents of PFLAG NYC. We are joined by Assel Aushakimova, the director of Welcome to the USA. Kat Ridley is doing the ASL interpretation. Prideful is film screening series by and for queer and trans people of color, or QTPOC. We strive to provide an open, safe space for the QTPOC community, and especially for those who are filmmakers, artists, and art lovers. The 2021 Prideful series includes a panel talk, 10 films, and Q&As, all available virtually. The theme of this year's series is Stories of Queer Diasporas, the Journey in Search of Blank, bringing a timely yet universal conversation about migration, immigration, and alienation in queer diasporas. Good news for anyone who still hasn't had a chance to watch Welcome to the USA, you can still watch the film until Thursday. On Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we have our closing program, the 2021 Prideful Shorts Program Q&A. To get tickets and more information, please check out our socials at Prideful Film with double L's, or our website, prideful.org, also with double L's. Before we start, I'd like to introduce our co-presenter, Aris Liao from API Rainbow Parents of PFLAG NYC. Aris, I invite you to say a few words, starting with a description of yourself and your background.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I am Aris Liao. I am representing API Rainbow Parents, and it is wonderful to be here with you all today. I am queer identified with she, her, hers pronoun. It is an honor to co-present with Prideful for today's film, Welcome to USA, directed by Assel Aushakimova. Sorry if I can't pronounce it very well. It is our mission to support and share queer API and queer POC stories and share the experience of our struggles. API Rainbow Parents provides information and support to Asian Pacific Islander families with a family member who is lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. The API Rainbow Parents group is open to parents, their relatives, and their family members and friends, as well as the LGBTQ people themselves. We provide monthly support group meetings, and at this time online, but we will return to in-person meetings when the pandemic abates. We also facilitate coming out workshops for queer API folks struggling with family acceptance, and we have developed a curriculum for API parents leadership training to help Asian parents with LGBTQ family members to become active advocates and leaders in our community. We aspire to create a more supportive space to help Asian parents and LGBTQ individuals to have a supportive and a celebratory space for family acceptance and navigate the struggles related to coming out. And we really appreciate that we got to be here today with you all. Thank you. And we invite you to check out our website and join our activities. We also help connect parents who are struggling with their children coming out to them, that they can provide space to talk to other parents as well. So thank you. Great to be here.
Those are really important things that really needs right now. Thank you so much, Eris.
Thank you for having me.
Because we only have 30 minutes to talk about this amazing film, we ask that you type your questions as the panel is happening using the Q&A box instead of the chat box, and we'll answer them coming down to the end. You can also choose to verbally speak by clicking the raise your hand button and wait until my colleague Isaiah gives you access to turn on your audio and video and speak. Please also note that this event is being recorded and will be shared with the public later. Assel, I'm very excited to have this conversation with you. I'd like to start by asking you to briefly introduce yourself, including the description of yourself and your background using your own words.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity to show our film. Thank you for inviting. So my name is Assel. I'm from Kazakhstan. I live in Kazakhstan in the biggest city, Almaty. Well, I think I'm the only and the first queer director in Kazakhstan so far. This is my first feature film, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you for being here with us. So I want to start with a question. How did you start making films?
Well, I have been cinephile since my childhood, but before turning into filmmaking, I worked in the financial sector for 10 years. I used to be a financial analyst in a bank, but at some moment I realized that our life is too short to spend it to job that you hated. So I graduated from film school here in Almaty and turned into filmmaking.
Awesome. So I know that this Welcome to the USA kind of started from your short film, The News, and it kind of expanded from that theme. How did you decide to make a feature film from a short? Can you talk a little bit about The News also?
Yes, The News was my second short film. And the first draft of the feature film was not about immigration, but the protagonist was initially queer, because for me as a queer director, it was important to finally make a film in Kazakhstan with queer protagonists. The first draft was about alienation and loneliness, and then in the next draft, I added the theme of immigration. And The News, I can't remember now what was the first, the script of The News or the script of the feature film. Yes, and The News, it was just the dialogue of two sisters. And yes, and The News was about the moment when the protagonist in Welcome to the USA, it's Aliyah. She come back to Kazakhstan because of the death of her mother to the funeral. That's it.
So why did you decide to make it a feature film?
Well, I think it's the next step for a filmmaker to make a feature film. And yes, I really wanted to make a film about immigration and with queer protagonists. That's why.
Yes, it's such an important issue to talk about, and thank you for making this film.
Thank you.
So I want to talk about a little bit about the ending of the film. So the audience don't really know what Aliyah decides, if she decides to go to the USA or decides to stay in Kazakhstan. Why did you decide to not show her decision?
Well, I think it's a very difficult question, very difficult decision, and it's still open question for me, as well as for many people in Kazakhstan. So,
Do you want the audiences just to imagine after what happened?
yes, but I think finally she will leave to the USA.
And why is that so?
Why she leave, or why the open question, or the open ending?
Yeah, we see her having so much internal conflict whether to leave everything or to stay. So why do you think she will leave?
Well, I think it will be a new opportunity for her to start a new life with a new environment. That's why.
Yes, definitely. Do you think she'll come back later?
Only for 1-2 weeks, just to see her relatives, her family.
I know a lot of people live those kind of lives. I'm also one of those people who just go back to the home country for 1-2 weeks in a year to see family and come back to the United States to live. So I really get that. About the filmmaking, what were some of the biggest challenges when you were making Welcome to the USA?
Well, as I said before, this is the first Kazakh queer feature film, and our society is very Islamophobic, and so I have been looking for financing and producer for 1 year, but it's unrealistic in Kazakhstan to find a producer and finance for this project. So after 1 year, I decided to be a producer of this film, and as I was a banker for 10 years, I have some savings, but it's a very low budget film, so it was difficult, but we made it. And yes, we have a lot of challenges with casting and with crew because of queer team. And I have no problem only with the lead actress, Sultanat Noruz, sent to her, because she agreed immediately after read the script.
Wow.
And with other actors and actresses, it was a big problem.
That's awesome. I also heard that this film was shot in like 10 days.
Yes, shooting was 10 days.
That is pretty short for a feature film, right?
Yes, but because of low budget, it's necessity.
True. So you talked about a little bit about how queer films are kind of hard to get finance and distribution in Kazakhstan. So I wanted to ask, how was the screening experience in Kazakhstan different from like screening in other countries?
Well, initially, I didn't plan to screen film in Kazakhstan, only like online streamings. But after the film was awarded as Best International Feature Film Fest, New York Film Festival, there were more attention from journalists and my associate producer. She decided to show the film in cinemas, and she got a license from our Ministry of Culture, but our rating was 21 plus. I don't know why, maybe because of one kiss. So yes, and our release was very limited in only 3 cities in Kazakhstan, because cinemas was afraid to show the film in other cities because they're afraid of the reaction of population. Yes, I think the perceive of the film in international audience was much more better than local audience.
Did you get a chance to have a Q&A like this with the Kazakhstan audience?
We had 2 screenings among our local queer community, and yes, I had Q&A with these queer communities. That's all.
How was their comment and feedback like?
Well, our queer community is very happy to have finally not very standard thing in Kazakhstan.
And I heard that you're also working on a new feature now. Can you talk a little bit about your new project?
Yes, I'm working on my second feature. It will be about journalism in Kazakhstan. Not a little bit with queer theme, but mainly it's about journalism in Kazakhstan. And now I'm still looking for financing for producer. Yes, it's very difficult to find finance not only for queer team, but only for and for some kind of political thing too.
And what are some things that you want to talk about in this new project?
What I'm going to talk in the film, or sorry, I didn't.
What are some of the messages that you want to talk about journalism?
Well, our media in Kazakhstan are mostly not independent. They are mostly state-owned. So the main role of our media is propaganda, and my film will be satire about this propaganda.
Is also internet very restricted in Kazakhstan?
Do you mean team or
internet or social media like Twitter, Facebook?
I see. I know that LinkedIn is restricted in Kazakhstan. I don't know why. Yes, and some sites are blocked, but not so many as in China, because we have Facebook and etc. But if our government wants, they can block everything. That's not a problem.
So your new film is about that control and propaganda.
Yes, but it's satire. It's not very serious. Yes. It's about the female journalist of state media.
I'm really excited to see that one also.
Thank you.
So as a queer filmmaker in Kazakhstan, and you said there's no queer films before Welcome to the USA, which queer films did you watch as you learned filmmaking or as you grew up? Because you said you were a cinephile.
Well, I watched and I like a lot of queer films. My favorite, I think it's Carol of Todd Haynes. It's the most favorite but I like a lot queer films.
Were you influenced by any particular film or filmmaker?
I don't know, maybe, but I can't remember now. Not only queer filmmaker. I can't remember now.
Can you talk a little bit about filmmaking in Kazakhstan?
It's very difficult. It's more difficult if you're film about queer, about politics, and there is a lot of corruption in our state financing system. So there is a lot of challenges in filmmaking in Kazakhstan.
Yes, I can imagine that. So going back to the Welcome to the USA, do you see yourself in Alia or any other characters in the film?
Yes, it's not an autobiographical film, but this film is based on many real facts and real people from my life and from my environment. So yeah, maybe I see myself a little bit, not in Alia. Yes.
There's so much diversity in the characters. There's queer Alia, and the sister is Muslim, and I can see that you try to put a lot of characters in there. And how was the casting process for all those characters? I'm especially curious about casting of the sister.
The casting was a big challenge, as I said, because I have no problem only with the lead actress, with Sultanat. And for sister, it was very difficult to find actresses because our actresses are not ready to play queer. And at the same time, they are not ready to play Muslim girls. I don't know why, but finally I found the actress thanks to her.
Why was it hard to find a actor for a Muslim character? Is it like a taboo or something that shouldn't be shown on screen like queer?
Well, our society mostly are Muslims, and it's not a taboo, but I think in our films we don't see a lot of Muslim team, and I don't know why, but it's our real life, so why not to show it? And well, I really don't know why our actresses are not ready to play this role, because about 70% of our society are Muslims, but I'm an atheist, so I don't know really why.
Is there any other particular community or people you want to talk about in your future films?
I don't know, but I want to make films about women. So
So you're you probably will have female leads in future films too, like Welcome to
Yes.
the USA. Mhm. And are you also planning to make more queer films?
Yes, I hope for this. Really hope for this.
Have you ever thought about leaving Kazakhstan like Alia, the main character in Welcome to the USA?
Yes, it's still open question for me to leave or to stay here. So we'll see. It's still open.
For you, what is the biggest factor that makes you want to leave or wants to stay?
Our society is very homophobic and very now. I don't know if you know or not, but 30 years ago, our country was a part of the Soviet Union, and now our society are looking for their roots, and it became more traditional. And tradition, I think it's not always very good because we became very conservative, and that's the problem. And we became very religious, very conservative, so it's a problem. And of course, the political situation in Kazakhstan is not very good. I don't know how to say, because our president, first president, was for 30 years, and now we have second president, but it's so-called second president. So environment in Kazakhstan are not very friendly. That's why.
And what's the biggest reason that you want to stay in Kazakhstan?
It's friends, family. That's the main reason. And the other reason I decided to make films, and as for filmmaker, it is important to me to know the reality, to know the environment, because I make and I want to make films about reality. And I know Kazakhstan, I know people in Kazakhstan, and it's simple for me to make things here, but to make things in other country, it will take some time to understand the reality and people and the environment.
Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing your stories today, Assel. It was really great to have you talking about Welcome to the USA, about your filmmaking experience. And we are really glad that you came join us. Thank you
So much.
Thank you. So thank you to all the audience who joined us today and tuned on for Assel's next films. And we are still screening Welcome to the USA, so please watch if you haven't. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.